So, today is day 20 of this challenge. I wanted to just vent because I've been having like a pretty bad, not to say a bad week, but this week has been pretty much bumming me out. It's just a parcel that's supposed to be sent like 2 weeks ago still hasn't moved yet, and I pretty much can't do anything about it. So yeah, when you don't have any control over something that you're looking forward to do, it's kind of like demoralizing, demotivating. So that's one of the factors, and I'm not saying that everyone is like that, but that's just me. When something that I really want to do, but when I want to do something really really bad, but I have already planned it using something that I like ordered or what, I just get bummed out. Anyway, trying not to get too negative, let's just talk about sneakers. And yeah, I guess the first thing that comes to mind when I say sneaker is performance or basketball sneakers in general. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I want to talk about sneakers, because I know generally there are a lot of types of sneakers, like tennis shoes, casual sneakers, retro sneakers, but still they are like intertwined with each other. So for me, most of the time when I mention sneakers, it's definitely about basketball shoes, basketball sneakers. Doesn't matter which era, doesn't matter if it's retro or a newer design. I think about basketball sneakers in general. Now, I haven't been too enthusiastic about sneakers for the past few years now, but I still see them from time to time. I still think about them from time to time, and I guess let's just talk about it. So my favorite sneaker of all time, I honestly can't really say. Design wise, I really love Jordan 1s and the 11s, just because of how simple they look, just how simple and sleek they look on feet. Although I've never owned a Jordan 1 before, but I just like how they look. It's a really simple design, so I guess it'll pair with anything or any outfit that you put on, but it will depend on the colorway at the end of the day, right? Apart from the Jordan 1, I mentioned the Jordan 11 as well. The Jordan 11, I don't know, I used to really like its design. I used to really think that it too would suit really well, especially when you are considering wearing it with a suit. But as I get older, I don't know, the bubbly look, it just doesn't look sleek anymore. But I still like the patterned leather, I still like how it looks, but I haven't had too much experience with 11s before, so I can't really say. I have bought or I have thrifted 11 lows before, and they pretty much looked fine, but they didn't feel fine because they were thrifted pairs, so I didn't know if they were legit or not, because in Malaysia, you can't really have 100% confirmation that the shoes you thrift are legit. I mean, you don't have any confirmation wherever you live, but here it's just a bit more risky if you are into really legit shoes. So the ones that I got, they were a bit stiff. I've heard and I've read that the patent leather is stiff feeling, and I've held new legit ones in hand, and they do feel stiff, but I don't know, maybe they just didn't break in. But the ones that I have were, I guess, just too old that they wouldn't even break in anymore. Anyway, so those are like my two, I guess, favorite Jordans. When it comes to performance shoes, the ones that I've used before, it's kind of a really surprising pick, actually, because you wouldn't have guessed that these shoes even existed if you don't live in Asia, or if you are not into performance shoes at all, performance basketball shoes. The first one that this is the criteria for being my favorite is how fun they were to play in, how fun and how comfortable they were to play in, because both of these shoes that I'm gonna mention don't have the greatest technology. They aren't really the most comfortable as well, but somehow I just really had fun playing in them. The first one, and this is more of an honorable mention, but it's the original Nike Precision. I really thought that they had zoom in them initially, but lo and behold, they didn't. So it really surprised me that they felt really great on feet to play in. The traction was nice. The cushion, although at worst was decent, they held up pretty well playing on outdoor courts where I usually play. And they felt really good on feet as well, especially with the open mesh material that it had. Although they didn't really look too good to be worn off court, but they still look nice, to be honest. They were kind of mid-cut, because you don't really see high-cut shoes anymore these days. So they were technically mid-cut, and they were really comfortable. I played in them until until you really can't play in them. What I mean is that not only were the soles really rubbed off, I even played it until the rubber was not even there anymore. That it was just the foam hitting the floor straight up. The materials had holes in them, and I'm not saying that they weren't durable. They lasted me for like 2 or 3 years, so that's pretty cool. But I really wore those in. The next shoe that is also an honorable mention is the Hyperrev 2016s, I guess. They were like a boot, a one-piece boot. You didn't have a tongue. You just straight up put your feet into like I forgot. There's a technical term for the material. It's elastic. It's really elastic. It's really stretchy. But you still have laces on the shoe, and you have a really big strap just to strap your feet in. and I really like those. It had zoom as well. It had zoom as well, so they were super comfortable. They wrapped around my feet really well, although they were like a bit bottom heavy, to be honest. But it just felt like I wasn't wearing anything at times. It wasn't until to the level that they like I felt like I was playing bare feet. But they just fit really snug, and the material was super comfortable, really plush as well. And I really love how they play. The traction was awesome as well. And there's a story of why I even got those in the first place, because I had bought a pair of, I forgot which Jordans those were. They were Team Jordans at the time. Well, now they're still Team Jordans, but they were Team Jordans. In store they felt great on feet, but when I started playing they were one size too long, so I didn't really feel comfortable. So I felt bummed out, sold those Jordans for a big loss, and went to find another pair of shoes. And I was really lucky that the Hyperrevs were on sale, so I got them for a really good price, even though I still lost money from those Jordans at the end of the day. I didn't like, it's not like I saved money getting the Hyperrevs, but because I still lost money at the end of the day. Anyway, so those Hyperrevs were really awesome. I got the all black pairs. At first I wasn't feeling them, as in the design, because of the colorway, and because they had a really futuristic design as well. It looked really weird on feet, but the more I wore them, the more I liked them. At the end of the day, they became one of my favorite shoes to play in. And then lastly, it's the Adidas D-Rose Englewood Trees. I don't know, there was just something about those shoes that I really liked. The design was really clean. I had a pair in they were mixed between pink and red, right in the middle. I can't really tell you guys, can't really describe the colors, but it was a mix. It was in the middle of pink and red. So, and they didn't really look like basketball shoes. They looked, I'm not gonna say they looked unique or different, because they basically looked like any other type of sneaker, any type of casual sneaker. But it had a I'm not gonna say very pronounced outrigger, but the outrigger was significant. If you were looking for a shoe that is like low key, like didn't stand out, that was the shoe that I would recommend. But they even discontinued the Englewood line, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, those had really basic tech specs as well. Really basic, like just wave bone pattern on the outsole. I don't even think they had adiprene. I don't even think they had adiprene cushion. I think they just implemented any random cushion, and they were simply awesome to play in before they bottomed out. Because after a while, I did play them for a year or two really aggressively. They did held out really well too, just like the Nike Precision. But the cushion bottoming out was really drastic, because you can actually feel the floor, and after some time, after a year or two, it really hurt my feet playing in those. But the material of the upper was kind of basic as well. It wasn't mesh, it wasn't anything special. It was like, you know, when in Malaysia you have like canvas shoes, they felt like plain canvas shoes with foam on the inside in the material. But still, they were really comfortable. They had great fit as well. I played in those. I wore those everywhere, on and off the court, because I liked how they looked as well. And the branding was minimal. It was only on the heel, you know, like those Kobe's where Kobe's logo was just on the heel, but Nike still put a big swoosh on the side. Adidas didn't do this. They just put the three stripes at the back of the heel, at the back of the shoe. It was a really minimalist branded shoe. And of course you had D Rose's logo on the tongue as well. And performance wise, they like I said, they didn't have the greatest tech specs, but they still performed well, and I still really liked playing in them, because my criteria for a really fun shoe, like I said, is comfort, and just, it doesn't matter how good, what the ceiling of good is, as long as it meets like the minimum requirements of having good traction, comfortable cushion, comfortable material, then it's fine for me. But these were just like, they were really decent at best materials, decent at best cushion, but they just felt awesome to play in. I personally don't know why I feel like these three shoes were fun to play in, because if you notice, the only three similarities are how seamless or how comfortable they are to wear, and the Precision and the D Rose Engelwoods weren't really that comfortable to begin with. So yeah, I guess if only I could get those shoes, to play in those shoes again. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it's also because they were not stiff at all. I think that's something that constitutes to the comfortability of a shoe as well, for me personally. Because when a shoe is stiff, you just feel uncomfortable, they just feel clunky and all that. But when there is no reinforcement whatsoever, you just feel unsafe playing in the shoe. And I guess those three shoes had a good balance of stiffness, had a good balance of comfortability, traction, stiffness, and for me they were just fun to play in. I know I've been repeating myself a lot this video. I'm just yeah, I guess that's day 20.